Yo guys, Beast back with some more beastly content. So this is going to be my official Farming 101. We are going to be covering every single thing about farming, everything you need to know, how to get the best yields, how to get the best grow times, everything in between. I'm also going to cover topics like planter box versus loamy soil, as well as show you how to get fertilizer. So first of all, the first thing you need to know is how to make fertilizer, because it's actually very, very important. So make yourself a compost bin and place any food item inside the compost bin. You will start making fertilizer. However, if you're looking for the most efficient way, you're going to want to head yourself to any of these beach regions. So right here, we're at this beach region up here in the Black Heart. This is where my base is located. This is also a polluted area, so you can be farming acid here through polluted areas, as well as, you know, contaminated berries. It's a great place to farm contaminated berries as well. But seaweed and shell rock are what you're going to want to be farming, and you're going to want to consume yourself a canned seafood, and that requires morel, which is morel seed, which can be acquired from like storage crates pretty much anywhere in the world. If you actually do theta on all difficulties and go through every single storage crate, there's a good chance you will get morels. If you do it every day, eventually you'll get yourself morels. I've had them before. I had a ton of canned seafood, and then I sold it all, and now I don't have any, and it's really hurting me on this last few days of the legacy server. I do need to get myself some morels. We will be going through theta ourselves soon enough. But yeah, canned seafood, it's great. It makes farming everything easier. It'll make farming apples easier because it also increases the logging effect, like the amount of drops you can get from logging up to like 777, or I think it's actually 6666 or something like that. But regardless, let's move on to fertilizers themselves. So there's base fertilizer, and then there are the three subcategories, as well as the nomadic one called improved compound fertilizer, which basically guarantees deviation, which basically guarantees the crop to turn into a deviated crop. So there's yield boost, growth boost, as well as yield boost, growth boost, and breeding boost. So yield boost requires mushrooms, growth boost requires apples, and breeding boost requires scarlet calamus. So on to the planter box versus loamy soil. I'm going to cover this real quickly. So there's a 17% growth speed difference between the planter box and the loamy soil. 17% growth speed difference does not mean anything if you're planting planter boxes and planting planter boxes over the top of other planter boxes, allowing you not to be placing fertilizer, because the growth boosting fertilizer will boost the growth speed by 3 times on every single plant. So like, we're going to be planting some mushrooms down, and it was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or 5 o'clock I think, and then I logged in at 7:30 and those mushrooms were ready for harvest. That's a 2.5 hour grow time when the normal grow time is 6 hours. All of this is being done under 3 watts of power. And yeah, it's just, that's why I use loamy soil over the planter boxes. You can place so many more in the area the lighting will affect. In a 2x2 area, you can place one single irrigator down on the floor directly in the center, no needing to place it on a crate or anything, just sitting on there. It'll irrigate every single one of these planters here. And this is 69. I've counted it up. So it's 7 rows of 10, but 1 row has a irrigator in it, which is taking up one single plot space. That means that there is 69 loamy soil plantations here. You would probably be able to get like maybe 10, 15 of the planter boxes in this little area here. So for a very low power cost, I am able to have perfect irrigation and lighting 24/7 on my crops, which also boosts your yield, your growth time, and things like that. These factors also increase the growth and the yield and everything like that. Loamy soil, the soil is very, very little to do with it. Fertilizer plays a key part. Yield boost increases your yield a ton. Breeding boost increases the seed production rate, and that's the other thing about these planter-based farms that we can't manual plant, is you're actually not able to create new seeds to plant. So you're going to eventually eat up all your seeds if you're not using breed boosting fertilizer on your seeds, on a portion of your seeds, in order to get more back. So recently I accidentally deleted my seed box and my vault was full, so I didn't get any of them back. So I basically reset on all my seeds. I happen to have about 200 contaminated berry seeds in my inventory. So we did have our contaminated berry seeds But other than that, I have been farming all of my seeds back, so I'm going to be showing you a lot of locations where you can get a ton of seeds later on in game. But once again, or later on in the video, but once again, we are also covering the basics of this. So one thing I like to grow is beets and saffron, because you can make Stardust energy drinks. And with my builds facility, which I'll link down below a way to build it, it's just a build guide, but I'll leave that link down below. What that is, and right here is actually going to be the farm location for mushrooms, so we're going to go ahead and get on into this now. So we're going to cover the first fertilizer. We're also going to be covering all the fertilizer locations, so just so you know. This is for Manabus, so Way of Winter it's going to be different. This is a new map, but we will see, and I will be getting a guide out over that when Manabus drops as well, because farming is great in this game. So all it is just directly behind this teleport tower, there's this cave. Go inside of it and explore around, and eventually you will stumble upon a ton of mushrooms. And this is just the fastest way of getting yourself mushrooms, as well as mushroom seeds, so that you can grow more mushrooms and never have to farm this forbidden cave again. Also, mushrooms are the way you get grow shrooms. Grow shrooms will automatically harvest your crops. They can automatically plant them, but they will not be placing fertilizer, so it is not recommended to actually use your grow shrooms to plant your crops, because you will be getting way less returns for just a barely little bit of work. So this next teleporter we went to is the teleporter just outside of Theta, and there's a tree just outside of this teleport tower, meaning that you can literally run from this teleport tower to the tree, cutting the tree down with some canned seafood oil, and be farming yourself up hundreds of apples within a few minutes. All you have to do is change world, the tree will instantly reload. But the other interesting fact about this also as well is the fields nearby of this tree here are also saffron fields, basically. There is a ton of saffron in here, and it's constantly regenerating. If you run around these fields, you collect all the saffron, you turn around and you run back the same way, you're going to run into more saffron. You can literally get hundreds of saffron by doing this. There's also cabbage, corn, bellflower, and all sorts of other plants also growing in this area. Another great place to get a ton of seeds. On to the next thing, though, that was the growth boost. So we have currently covered yield boost and growth boost fertilizer. Here's going to be my favorite Scarlet Calamus location, and it's actually just below the teleport tower by Theta, and you can actually technically go to Greywater, and maybe it'll be a little bit of a short drive if you take a shortcut, but it's pretty much a straight shot straight from the Theta teleport tower, so I think that would be my best plan of action to get here. This is also a recommended base location for earlier in the phases, as it is just a great place where you can build a base and get the breeding boost fertilizer that you need super duper easily without even having to leave your base area. You literally just run up and down these riversides here, and you cross over the river at a certain point, run back the other way, cross over, and you just kind of do a loop running around the bridge if you want. Usually I use the bridge to cross over, and then I run all the way down to the end of the river, cut across it, run all the way back. I used to have a base set up here. I haven't actually used this in a very long time. I was just growing my Scarlet Calamus, but as I said, I deleted my seed box and my vault was full, so we are regrowing all of our seeds now, and I figured the perfect time to cover, you know, planting 101 and where all I can get my seeds, where all you can get your seeds, where all you can get other things you want, all about the fertilizers. I've explained to you once again. Breed boost triples the seeds you get from it. It's how you create your seeds. You can take one seed, you can make it 3, then you can take 3 seeds, make it 9, and just continuously do it. It's how you get a contaminated berry farm going on, and it's also how you keep the seeds going on for your contaminated berry farm, because if you do not use breeding boosting fertilizer every once in a while, eventually you'll run out of seeds, because it's not a guaranteed seed drop every single time you harvest your plant. It's a chance to drop a seed, meaning you may be spending that seed. It will be gone forever if you don't get a seed drop when you harvest. But as you can see here, I want to show you one more thing here on my deviation setup here. So I have a furnace with charcoal smelted that I've never claimed hiding in the walls here. I also have a Lumi soil placed up here with a crop, and a Lumi soil placed up here with a flower, as well as a radio. The buzzy bees like to be planted near crops, flowers, and music. So I have all of these placed hidden up in the wall, and then I have the radio turned off in the settings, and it's fully activating my buzzy bees. And then the music, I think it is, power, and the electric, or the furnace burning is what's making the grow streams have full power. So that's all you got to do. You can literally hide it in the walls. It's super duper easy to do, no problem. You don't have to build them near your stuff or anything, and that's why I like the in-wall deviation setup that I have going on there. But as you can see here, we have Scarlet Calamus and Saffron growing. The Saffron's growing so that we can make a ton of energy drinks. It's one of the easiest energy link farms where you can just redeem every single market out and have yourself 250,000 energy links a week. Super duper easy just by selling a ton of energy links straight to the NPC vendors at the 50k cap per, you know, vending location. So energy links literally just require beets and saffron seeds. So once again, one of these 69 facilities with full yield boosted saffron, one of these 69 facilities with full yield boosted beets, and you would have yourself probably a good 200 Stardust energy drinks if you have the aluminum and the purified water, which once again, purified water I have a ton of just by having a couple water pumps out, and aluminum you can have a ton of just by going to get a bunch of aluminum and also the acid and smelting the aluminum up. Not hard at all, and a super easy energy link maker, especially if you didn't get the silver mimetic to actually make silver or gold into or ingots. Next, we're going to cover some more seeds here. So peppercorn can be purchased in Black Fell, both peppercorn itself as well as the peppercorn seeds. As you've seen, I actually had like a good 300 peppercorn I was already sitting on. There's just some more proof that, yeah, I deleted my seed box. I still had the, you know, the outcome of all that peppercorn. I have tons of peppercorn. Another thing to mention is on the hard servers, these isolation containment units in both Tallgrass and Blackfell have a very high chance of yielding a Buzzy Bee. So it's a very good way of you to farm up Buzzy Bees extremely quickly if you're planning on doing some sort of really quick farm going on within the next season, the beginning of Way of Winter, which is a very good idea because you're going to be needing to craft or you're going to be needing to grow things like chilies and things so that you can keep warm until you're able to get your armor up enough to where it's actually keeping you warm, because you'll also be able to use fur to keep yourself warm. It's going to be very interesting. This right here in the Tallgrass Inn is my favorite farm here. I just showed you also the shortcut to get up here. Just use an energy drink and climb the cliff. This is a great place to farm cabbage, seeds, and cabbage, of course. This is also a great place to farm beets and seeds, of course. This is also a great place to farm pumpkin. And Stargazy Pie requires deviated pumpkin, deviated saffron, and I do believe it's deviated wheat. So we're getting the pumpkin here that we need, we're getting the beets here so that we can turn those beets directly into sugar for our energy drinks for a ton of energy link. You know, a ton of energy links, that's great. So there's a few things I want to purchase from the shops before the next season, and that's kind of why I've been farming up these energy drinks. And I just kind of had no energy drinks, and I am addicted to energy drinks, and that's the whole reason why I did it. But as you can see here, great way to make yourself really quick energy drinks. Or really quick caps. I think it's like 63 or something like that for 50,000 energy links. Of the energy links, just 63 energy drinks, and you're going to be making yourself 50,000 per vendor that you visit, up to 250,000 energy links, which would be, once again, 5 times like 70. So 350 energy drinks a week is all you'd have to make to max out the vendor shops here and claim yourself, you know, 25 times 5 phases. So, you know, like a little over 1 million energy links here for grabs just from farming. And literally all you have to do is plant the stuff and wait for it to grow and harvest it the next day. It is amazing. Once again, farming is one of the most powerful tools in the game. It's how you make all of the in-game items that will be boosting certain things like your crit rate or your damage against bosses and things like that. It's how you get higher damage, and it's how you can compete and make pro mode feel like an easy mode with the items. I'm telling you, farming is one of the most important things. Now, we are now in Myers Market, and I do believe what it actually had in it was cucumber seeds. And I forgot to mention that Tallgrass Inn actually sells onion seeds, which is apparently a way to get a certain deviation that's like the grocery room. I actually haven't got it yet, so I picked up the onion seeds, and we did breed boost those, so we're going to have 9 of those now when we were able to harvest those in the morning, and then we're going to turn those into more onions. And hopefully eventually we'll get that onion deviation, and we'll be able to check it out before the next season. And I'm not sure what it does. I'm not sure if maybe it's just a duplicate of the grocery room, or maybe it's one of those. I'm thinking it maybe even said it was only available in PvP or something like that, but maybe it's available in the hard mode now. We do have onions, so I'm thinking if you're able to get it through harvesting, then that'd be interesting. We will see if we get the onion deviation though. The next thing though, like I said, that Go through and harvest every single storage container while you're doing Theta. Do it on all 3 difficulties, and you're more than likely going to be getting yourself some morel seeds out of this. It also drops other seeds, but like I said, storage containers are the way to get it. You can literally just do this daily and or every 4 hours on a set time frame, of course. I think it's like 12, 4, 8, etc., etc., based upon the time zone this game itself is in, not your time zone. So you gotta figure out that, you gotta compare the time zones. That's up to you to decide. But as I said, there's a ton of storage containers in Theta, and a lot of them can contain seed drops. It's also going to be giving you the highest tier materials, so you'll be able to repair all of your equipment and gear at tier 5, and you'll be able to get that material while you're also farming for your morel seeds, which is, you know, kind of a double farm there, and something that you're going to need to have no matter what. Even if you are enjoying your farm, you're going to want to also repair your armor and stuff. So just a little bit more of a tip there on just kind of a side thing while you're also farming for their morels. Technically, like, people recommend a certain workshop area. It's the farm workshop area. There's like a couple seed cabinets there that are guaranteed seed drops, and you can farm it every 4 hours. But it's never actually given me some morel seed drops. The only place I've actually got it to drop out of is Theta itself, and Theta just seems like it's a higher % chance than that. And I honestly recommend Theta over doing that workshop area, just because it takes a long time to get there, especially if you don't have the right teleport towers unlocked. But what we're doing here actually is just refreshing our Buzzy Bees just before we go to get the final growth phase. So we're like 90% on the growth phase. So we're hoping that by refreshing all of them, they're actually going to create more deviated mushrooms, so that we're going to be able to just put some saffron seeds down with our improved compound fertilizer and be able to get a ton of the deviated saffron extremely efficiently and not have to grow in bulk saffron, even though I want to grow bulk saffron anyway because I love my energy drinks. So we're also going to be doing some more reboosting on our saffron. But I think I've covered about everything you need to know about the game. Irrigation and lighting wise, I think I covered that. But besides that, I do believe this is the end of the video. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and keep it beast mode.